Hello, I am currently sitting underneath this magnolia tree at my mom's house. I shared yesterday on Instagram that she lives next to this, or shares a backyard rather, with this beautiful, kind of charming, I guess, event space, wedding venue. And it's so sweet because it has this huge magnolia, and underneath the magnolia, where I am currently sitting, is a ton of little bistro chairs. Maybe you see a few behind me, and these magical little lights, and it's just special. I love to come here whenever I'm visiting, and I've lived here a time or two when I've been in kind of transitional seasons, and had friends who live in Jackson, Mississippi, who come meet me here, and it's really special. I shared it last night on my Instagram, and a lot of friends were like, "Oh my gosh, I want more of the lore." And I thought this was so funny because I drove here with my two kids yesterday, and my kids are angels and let me listen to whatever I want to in the car. And the whole drive here, I kind of toggled between listening to the Jen Sincero book, You Are a Badass, which once a year for the last, I don't know, 11, 12 years since that book came out, I have listened to that book or read the book. And whenever you need a little boost or a reminder, like, that's the one. It just always hits home. I love it. And I guess I was needing some reminders, and the whole way here, I was really contemplating just the stories that we tell ourselves, the stories that we make meaning from. And being here at my mom's home, and I'll showcase that in the rest of this video, I think I could already feel an essay percolating within me that wanted to be written, but a little bit about the ways we make meaning, as human beings and in our own lives, and all the stories we tell about ourselves, and the stories that we choose to tell about ourselves, and the ones we attach to and the ones we should detach from. And all of that is so interesting. The other thing I was listening to is my kids and I both agree that Folklore is Taylor Swift's masterpiece. And so I was listening to Folklore. So I was considering lore. There's a lot of lore in the context of that album. And the song specifically that I was really hung up on yesterday was this one called Invisible String, which, if you've not heard, I'm sure you've heard. It talks about all of the invisible threads, and I think of yoga and the sutras. Sutra, it means thread, and tantra is the loom and the tapestry that ties us all together. And I've been thinking about all of these things for some time. I went through a divorce about a year ago, which many people know. If you're in my life, you definitely know. And that is always, I think, for anybody who's gone through that, it is an unraveling, right? Like, it is, I thought things would be one way, I thought my life would look this way, and then you're changing your life. So of course it brings up and bubbles up to the surface this need to examine ourselves and our lives and where we place meaning, and it changes you. And outside of that, for the last 6 months, I have found myself in a little bit of an identity crisis. I've been surrendered to whatever the universe has offered. Sometimes the universe either places obstacles on the path that cause us to pivot, or opens up opportunities that cause us to need to move into a new direction. And I've really been trying to stay surrendered and listen to intuition. That has been a big theme throughout all of this kind of life change and upheaval. And it's been so beautiful because you really do see the meaning in everything that happens. And that's such a beautiful thing we do as human beings. It's really special. And I've been thinking a lot about who I am, identity and story, and the roles that we play, the things that we do. I'm a mother, I was a wife, and I'm now an ex-wife. I am a yoga therapist, sometimes a yoga teacher. I am a hairstylist of 20 years. I have this new secret third thing that I'm about to announce. Sometimes I'm a kirtan singer. We do a lot of different things, and these are roles that we play, but they're not inherently who we are. And I've been really trying to sit back with what's underneath all of that. Who am I? Getting really anchored in that, so that as I move out the world, I am living in integrity, walking my talk, and being the person that I want to be in every scenario. And it has not been an easy season, in that when you change your life and you experience kind of upheaval, often other people wish to tell their own story about you. And there was a time where I really wanted to control the narrative, like, oh my goodness, people think this about me, this isn't true, how do I fix it? And even recently I was having this come up again. It's come up a time or two, and I was chatting with one of my best friends, Carly, who FaceTimes me naked from her sauna weekly. And if that's not authentic and real, I don't know what is. And I was telling her this, oh, I just need to fix this. And she said, no. She looked at me and she said, no, you just need to be who you are. That's it. Boom. And it kind of floored me in that moment, because she was right. I've taken to calling any kind of things I hear about myself that true or untrue, just fan theories. They're fan theories. Like, what does anybody know about my life save for the person who is existing inside of it, i.e. me? And everyone else to that degree is also so caught up in their own lives, their own personal lore and mythos and ethos. And we just need to give each other grace and also allow room for new stories to emerge. Allow there to be something unexpected to come out of the ashes of whatever burned down. Life is so surprising and so beautiful and so powerful and so meaningful. It is poetry. It is pure poetry. And this is the Bhakti heart within me speaking. Life is poetry. Life is meaningful. Recently, I was struck by how many lives we live in the span of a single lifetime. We all have our origin story, where we came from, all of the small, even often mundane moments that add up to make us who we are. Also, all of the utterly wild but true stories that sound stranger than fiction yet somehow actually happened. There is a version of me that grew up a good girl in the Deep South, the LA wild child of my early 20s, my brief New Orleans heartbreak chapter, and then 15 years in Austin, Texas, which has felt like many lifetimes on its own. We humans are meaning-making machines. We all have our stories. We each run a near constant narrative in which we are the main character of our own hero's journey. And yet in someone else's story, you might be the antagonist or the villain. You might be the faithful friend. You might be the magician put on someone's path for but a brief, profound moment that shifts their story in an entirely new direction. There is often the much debated question of fate versus free will. And I have to say, I am inclined to believe that it's both. Shakespeare said both. It is the stars above us that govern our conditions, and it is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. And so I do believe that while we may have less control over what happens than we would ever care to imagine, our real agency lies in how we choose to feel about it. We are often at the mercy of the circumstances life presents, and the meaning we make of them is where our true power lies. I have my lore, as you undoubtedly have yours, and there are times when we get mired in our stories. Often our patterns and conditioning create well-worn grooves in our subconscious that cause our patterning. If we practice looking at the bigger picture over time, we might see that we, the waves, are in fact not separate from the ocean. That each thread of our individual lives weaves together to create an intricate tapestry far bigger than we could ever imagine. In that way, our small stories are but a fraction of the whole and incredibly significant. What really matters is the meaning we choose to make out of our brief, miraculous lives here on earth. Let this be a reminder that if you don't like your current story, you can always choose to tell a new one.